Hi, this is Tammy Powley, and welcome to episode 4 of the Crafty Princess Diaries podcast. Today's episode is called On Location with the Guest because I am on location and I have a guest. My guest is Terry Carter. She's my sister, and she's also a prolific crafter and a blogger. And what is the URL and the name of your blog?
Tapping Flamingo. Is it tappingflamingo.blogspot.com?
Okay, so Tapping Flamingo. I mean, I think if you even just Google Tapping Flamingo,
Yes.
you pop up because she's been blogging for quite a few years. So
Yes.
She is Googleized. But yeah, definitely check out her website. She also writes, you do book reviews on cooking books lately. Haven't you been doing some of those?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so we've both been participating in the Books for Blogs, Books for Blogging program. So she's been getting some interesting, different types of books, mostly food related because she does like to cook. So, but yeah, definitely stop by Tapping Flamingo after stopping by Crafty Princess Diaries. The URL to Crafty Princess Diaries, by the way, is www.tammypowley.com. So that's just my name. And you can also find other episodes of the podcast on my YouTube channel. Again, if you just go to YouTube and search for my name, TAMMYPOWLEY, you will find us over there. So starting off with finished objects, I'm going to let Terry start because she has some pretty cool finished objects.
Okay.
What are your finished objects?
Well, right now, since Christmas is right around the corner, and it takes a while to make these things, I am making Christmas ornaments out of old guitar strings. And
then what are those beads on there too?
These are beads, just glass beads. There's one that's just got one little star bead. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, so it's a green star bead on there.
Yes.
That's nice.
And I've just used regular wire. You can buy them at any craft store, or you could actually go to like your home store or whatever and buy
this
the wire
here that she's showing you, I got this a while ago from Rio Grande. And I think this was a whole pound. It's brass, and it's called, I think it's red brass they call it, so it has a golden color to it. Very, as far as wire goes, it's very inexpensive. And this, by the way, is, I think it's 21 gauge. Yeah, so this is 21 gauge. Is that about the size you normally use for yours?
Yeah, it depends. Some a little thinner, some a little bit heavier. I've also been making some bracelets.
Oh, so that's a bangle bracelet?
This is a bangle, and this is actually out of a bass string. These are all old strings that people just throw away.
And so people are giving you these?
Yes. Our local music store is saving them for me, and they are glad to give them to me.
So if you wanted to try to make some of these yourselves, audience, you could just, if you don't know somebody who already plays like a guitar, dulcimer? She plays a dulcimer. Do they have strings on that?
Yes. Okay. Yes, we have small strings. In fact, that's pretty much how I get started with this. I just started learning to play a few months ago, and when I saw people just throwing away their strings, I thought, I wonder if I can make something out of them. And that's
now is this would be like a bangle, right?
Yes.
Okay. Love this idea, because this is, I mean, if you know somebody who is musically inclined, this is like a wonderful, idea. And here's a cool one for the guys. You know a guy that plays guitar? I think he would totally like that.
Oh yeah, and definitely. They come in, I get black strings, I've had violin strings, all kinds of different strings.
Those earrings are neat too.
Let's see if you can see these. These are really pretty cool. Whoops.
Yeah, it's hard. The camera is opposite, so it's a mirror image.
There you go. And it's one small string, and then I've used...
so you wrap the string around to make a loop.
To make a loop.
Make a circle, okay.
And then I'll take some... This is where I use the thinner wire to wrap and then put seed beads.
All right, so you could put beads on this and wrap it around the thicker guitar or whatever musical instrument wire. Awesome. Okay, and let's see... finished objects. Okay, I'll go next and then you go next because she's got another finished object. I love those, by the way, so I wanted to show those to you guys. That's kind of what made me think about her since she's here too, but also I knew that most people would find those are pretty cool. All right, as far as my finished objects, the scarf finally is done. Yay! Okay, that's a basket stitch scarf, and the ends are seed stitch. Okay.
That is pretty.
Yeah, it turned out nice. It's about, I want to say, is it 4? I think it's about 4 feet long, 5 inches wide. And this was size 6 U.S. needles, just some bamboo needles, and the yarn is a 2-ply from Morehouse, a merino, not a superwash, just a regular merino wool. And I'm happy with it. I mean, if you really, really looked at it, you're going to see boo-boos. But as I said in my last episode, I just had to kind of push through and just finish it. So now that I'm done with this, that means I get to start on another crafty class, which I'm really looking forward to. So, but yes, finally it is done, and I'm glad I stuck through it, and I'm very happy with it. It's pretty lightweight too, and we live in Florida, so or I do, and she's from the South too, so that's why a lot of times I try to make things that aren't too super heavy. Okay, and then what else finished object-wise?
Well, as you probably know, Tammy's a 31 consultant, and so am I. And the last party I had, I wanted to give little party favors to everybody. And so I decided to make these button flowers.
Those are so cute.
And you just go to, your regular store, and
yeah, most craft stores you would probably find like bags of buttons.
Yes.
Is that what you did? Okay.
These actually came from 2 bags. I had one bag that was full of just the round buttons, all different sizes, and then the little flowered shape ones, they were in another bag. So.
And is that what type of wire is this? Florist wire?
Floor wire.
Oh, and that's very inexpensive. You can
Yes.
also get that at craft stores for like $2 or something.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so you handed these out at the parties like little favors.
Yep, little favors.
Okay, cute idea. Love this. And then you can also put them together and make a little.
Well, I've
like
even
that.
seen bridal bouquets made out of
Really?
button.
This is cute.
Yeah.
This is neat. This is fun like for summertime too.
Oh yeah.
So cool. Very easy to make.
And you could also make them as like, instead of a bow on top of a package, you could use
Oh, that's
these.
a neat idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, then people can reuse them.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so moving on to, we're still going to try to keep this around 20 minutes. I think we're doing all right. I forgot to see what time it was when this thing started. But works in progress. So my work in progress is I did finally get something done on the Stegosaurus. So here's his body. I have his feet done too. And then I'm going to make the scales. This is a different pattern. A lot of times with amigurumi, you make all the pieces, then you stuff them individually and stitch them together. With this pattern, and she warns you about this at the beginning of the pattern, she has you make the body, stuff it, and then attach the pieces while this is stuffed. So, yeah, which is so, and even the pattern instructions are a little different than some of the other ones I've done with her. Here, in case anybody is new, this is the pattern that I'm following from Fresh Stitches.
That is adorable.
Yeah, so it's super cute. Like I said, I have the legs done, and now I'm working on the body. Then I'll still have the eyes and the scales to do. So that is my main work in progress. And also I will be, is that the only thing I'm working on now? I guess that's it. Seems weird that, yeah, I guess that's all I'm working on. I have future projects, but we'll talk about that next. What are your in progress projects?
Well, we are trying to sell our house in Western Kentucky and moving back to Monroe, Louisiana. And so because I am in a small apartment, I couldn't bring all my craft stuff. So in addition to making the guitar string jewelry and all, I have also been making paper beads. And I did not get them out, so hang on.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, I've seen paper beads before. I've made them myself, and they can be tricky because the glue can get really sticky, and I'm not very good with glue. I tend to get it all over the place, and then sometimes it won't be smooth on the paper, but her beads are really very nice.
Well, what I've done, this particular bracelet, I put on a memory wire, and they're made out of old 31 catalogs.
Yes, because you have those left over sometimes, don't you?
Yes, you do. I actually had a consultant give me a bunch of them.
Oh.
Now, it doesn't really take that many, so I don't really need a whole lot of them. But these are some beads I've used, and I put them with hematite beads. And this is one of my favorite bracelets here. Let's see if you can see it. I put them with purple glass beads, and then these turquoise beads are actually beads or paper used like for scrapbooking.
All right, so this is the paper.
Right.
And then this is a glass
The glass
purple.
bead, yeah. And then I topped it
I mean,
off.
and they look almost, to me, like when you first look at them, they look almost like wood or ceramic or something. Like you have to really
Right.
touch them to have an understanding that, you know, they're very lightweight paper beads.
They are, and it's like they're okay to get maybe a little wet. You wouldn't want to go swimming or to the beach in them.
Right.
I have been caught out in the rain with, you know, earrings or whatever, and they've held up.
Oh, good.
It's just you don't want to, you know, take a bath or whatever. And they also are, you know, you can make them big or small. I've got some giant. Hang on a second again.
She's opening up her 31 Julie bag.
Here you
Travel
go.
bag. Whoa, that's a big one.
That is
Okay.
a big one.
Yeah,
And this
so
is
that's
actually
lots of paper, just and then.
yes, it's
now-
construction paper.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, so construction paper you can use too.
Any
Yeah.
kind of paper. Junk mail paper.
Yeah, I was to say junk mail. Well, I always have to get a lot of
And
junk mail.
once I wrap these, and I wrap them all by hand, and then I just glue them. I usually use a glaze. I have a glaze that I use,
Oh, okay.
and I triple glaze them.
Oh, triple glaze. That's
Yeah.
probably why they look so good. Because I've seen, like I said, I mean, I've made them, and I think I just used glue, and I didn't put any glaze on them.
Right. You want to glaze them.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And see, you know, you're making beads, but I think you could do other stuff with, you know, other sculptural type, you know, projects.
Well, I've actually made bookmarks where I've put like a one of the bigger beads, but they're skinnier. They're long and skinny. And I put that as the top of the bookmark, and then use seed beads, you know, where the part where you put into the book. And so the big bead is hanging out of the book as your bookmark.
Oh, that's a really good idea. So yeah, so if you don't have, you know, what I like about both of her ideas is if you don't have a lot of money for supplies, and I mean, you know, it's funny because I watch a lot of podcasts, and they're, you know, sometimes, and now I will say sometimes they've gone, the podcasters have gone to like a special show, or
Right.
something like that, and they come back and they have like oodles and oodles of this beautiful, expensive yarn or material or whatever. And I know we all can't do that, and this just shows you, I mean, you don't have to have super expensive yarn or supplies to make beautiful things, because I mean, people are just giving you stuff, you know. And I will say that even with yarn, if you tell enough people, you know, when I came here today, my mom was like, "Hey, I found these, you know, old knitting needles. Here you go." So if people know you're interested in stuff, I guess that'll be our tip. We kind of missed the tip part, which was going. The tip part was actually going to be about lighting and how crappy the lighting is in here. I'll talk about that later, I guess. But yeah, I mean, look, tell people what you're doing when you start a new project or when you start a new hobby or craft, because you know, a lot of times maybe they can't knit anymore. You know, like for me, in fact, when we were talking earlier about lighting, I used to years ago do a lot of cross stitch, and I really enjoyed it, and I tried to pick it up again, I guess maybe almost a year ago, and I just can't do it anymore because my eyes are so bad. And even with a lot of light, you know, I would have to have some sort of specialized equipment to do it, and I don't feel like having it's one of those big visor things on my head. Like here we have this. So okay, we get kind of a double. This works really well for beading, for needlework, anything like that. If you have eyesight problems, you almost have to do. I mean, fortunately, I'm not the only person I've heard that be an issue for after. We'll say after a certain age, no matter how thick the glasses are, you just can't really see well, and especially on something like cross-stitch or embroidery, that's very close-up, precise work.
Right.
You have to see those tiny little holes, and I just couldn't, even when I put the lamp right over it, it was like I had to put it in my face, and then of course my cats are like, let's get under the lamp. Why are you under the lamp? This is fun. So it was, yeah, I'm kind of probably having to give up the idea of cross stitch again. So, but yeah, that's two things. Lighting's super important, and hey, tell people what you're doing, because then they might give you stuff for free.
And they also might buy stuff.
Well, that's true. A lot of times, I mean, that's pretty much how I started out when I first started making jewelry. Somebody came up and said, hey, I like those earrings. I said, hey, I made them. I'm making them for Christmas presents, and then bam, I had a business, like, you know, a couple months later I had my jewelry business started.
Right.
So that's, you know, that's also a good idea. All right, so future projects. What project ideas do you have in the future?
Well, if we could ever get our house sold and moved, I have all kinds of projects for our new house.
Oh, for decorating
For
and everything?
decorating,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. Don't have anything in mind yet because I don't have the house. So I live but day by day lately.
Yes,
so.
yeah, because they have a house. In fact, if anybody wants a beautiful house in Kentucky,
Western Kentucky,
they have a gorgeous house, and it's for sale, and it's, you know, she'll give you a deal, okay? Because she wants to move. She wants to get out of there. Not that she didn't like it there, but her husband had to move because of his job.
Right.
And she's got, you know, adult children spread kind of all over the place now. So she wants to get more, centralized so she can
Right.
have a life.
Well, I'd like to, instead of going back and forth from Louisiana to Kentucky all the time, I'd like to be in one spot with my husband.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be, unusual. All right, so my future project ideas are, now that I am done with the scarf, I call it the basket case scarf because I just about made me a basket case. I will be starting the, I think it's called Circular Knitting Lab at Craftsy, and you do 4 different types of hats. And here is, speaking of supplies, here is a big honking ball of yarn that I got a few months ago at the local yarn shop here. It's actually in Cocoa Village. It's called what is it called? Stitch and Knit Boutique. Yeah.
Okay.
And it is, if you're ever in downtown Cocoa Village in Florida, you got to go there. She has fabulous yarn. One problem though is, of course, the class called for bulky yarn, and they did not have, well, they had bulky yarn, but it was crazy expensive, and I'm just learning. So I got this chunky yarn, which I love the colors.
I do too. Those are beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I saw this up on the shelf and I was like, I must buy this big thing of yarn. I would have bought it anyway. It was $15, so it's not too bad. My only thing is it's acrylic, and I'm kind of bummed because I'm really trying to spread away from acrylic a little bit if I can, but what are you going to do? So,
Yeah.
Anywho, I got this. Hopefully that will work for the projects in the class. And the other thing is, beaded bracelet. I got this book, which at some point I will give more information about this book and give a review of it on my blog. And in fact, I have 2 copies of this book, so that means I'll have a giveaway of some kind. They sent me a kit to make one of the bracelets in here, so I will be making that bracelet. And as it happens, I finally got the guest room cleared out for my mother-in-law, who's coming soon to visit. And what I did is, because I want to make that bracelet pretty soon, I took my seed bead stuff and I put it in a box. It's actually a 31 box. What's the kind with the flippy lid thing? Do you remember what that one is called?
No, I don't.
Yeah, well, it's got this flippy lid that you can use. You can take the lid and snap it on. So anyway, because I want to make sure my cats didn't get into it. So anyway, I've got my CB stuff in there, and that way it's kind of portable because she's not going to be gone here for a long time, but just in case I get the urge to make that, because they are some really neat beads. Some of the beads have like double holes in them. Yeah, so in the clasp is this sparkly clasp, so now I'm kind of like, oh, I want to make that, So, and I think once I sit down, I think it's just going to take a couple minutes. I can whip that out pretty quick. But anyway, this book's called Beaded Bracelets, 25 Dazzling Handcrafted Projects. It's by Claudine McCormick Jalajus. Oh, I can't say that name. Jalajas.
Halajas?
Whew,
I don't know.
boy, I'm butchering that. And Running Press is the publisher. But like I said, look on my blog in a little while, in a couple weeks or something, and and maybe I'll probably mention this on a podcast when I start giving it away. But anywho, I don't know how we're doing for time, but I think we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll let you go, but first just remind you that her blog is called tappingflamingo.blogspot.com. Mine you can find at tammypowley.com. You can also find my other episodes. This is episode 4, so you can find my other episodes 1, 2, and 3 over on my YouTube channel. Just look for my name, Tammy Powley. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time crafting. And I'm not sure when the next podcast is going to be. I think that's been a week and a half since my first one, but maybe another week or 2 I will do another one. So thanks again for watching, for coming back, or if you're new, thanks for stopping by.